Good morning to y'all.
And to you, ma'am. You're thinking this can only end bad. You're right. Condemned to death, my brother.
I don't know you.
Quincy Hollis Foster, United States Marshal. I want you to help me find Mr. Tullis. And Gretchen James, Samson Sullivan, and Cyrus Pope.
Salutations.
Sir, help!
They had a daughter. Might still be alive. You agree to help me find him and you walk out of here tonight a free man.
No one is ever permitted to leave.
We call this place Eminence Hill.
Fear not, for you confessed.
I'm calling you a lower scum murderer.
Where is he?
Royce!
You know what? I feel like Westerns are morality plays that have been stuck with us over the hundreds of years since we all began over here on this country from Europe. I'm always fascinated by it because every nuance is not missed by an audience. They all have the story in them. And so if you hit anything even like it, they'll fill it in. They will choose which character they are in a movie, and they'll choose which morality is working right. You know, like, are we saving somebody, or are we killing them, or are we ripping them off, or whatever? And there's still a lot of that in our society right now. We have a lot of politics going on that we all kind of have to take a stand on. What do we want the world to be, you know, in the future? So, but I love Westerns, I really do. In this case, I borrowed everything I'm wearing from reenactors that were on the set, and they were all generous and very clever. They had really authentic things to wear. But I got there and I looked more like Tom Mix. They were going to put buttons on me and, you know, like buttons down the sides. And I said, no, that's not this guy. He's ridden hard and he's looking for this guy. And finally runs into him. Quincy Foster.
Not the slightest.
Mason Mills, Staff Sergeant, 3rd Cavalry, as was.
Fascinating. What can I do for you?
Carson Garrett, who rode with 7.
That was a long time ago, partner.
Yeah, I used to know a lot of the boys from the 7th. It's sad to see that you're taken up with such a sordid character.
You just need to leave it, friend.
Advisable idea. But some things need to be said.
We all have our history.
Yeah, none of us have angels. Hell, I'm just a bounty-chasing road dog myself. But I tell you, in 100 years, only a time or two has hell spit out a man such as this. There's a lot of people, and back in those days, that lived homeless, really. They were on the move all the time, or they were trying to find a warm place, or they were trying to get some food or a drink. And they drank a lot because then it kind of numbed you.
Alejandro, my good man. Is that the scent of whiskey I smell on your breath?
I like the whole background and the whole background of the story, where you have this hidden compound, almost like a cult, that was mixed with religion and violence, you know. And they didn't want to be discovered. They wanted to live in that cloister that they had set up. And so anybody that straggled onto this place by accident now got pulled into something they never dreamt of.
Welcome, strangers. There's no need to bark thunder, friend. We're just here to bid you welcome.
Welcome. Where are we exactly?
We call this place Eminence Hill.
No one is ever permitted to leave. Father says that those who know of us must never be able to depart. For it's only that the sinful know not of our sanctuary, that we thrive in the light of the Lord.
And life seemed to be fairly inexpensive. You know, like, I think of the homeless, they're dying by the hundreds. They really are, all over the country. And I think of how cheap life can become. And in some ways, again, it's a morality play. It's a Western, but it's got all the indicators. It's a good thing being an actor because you can experience new things every single time. I know there's horse, boots, and guns, and you know, but the truth of it is, everybody approaches a horse in a different way. It's like life slows down, really slows down in a Western, where you notice everything. I mean, what kind of bridle, what kind of saddle? Does he know how to ride? Does it, you know, I mean, it's a study in a way. I've seen every kind of Western you can imagine. And I was happy to do this one because I liked the way it was written by our director. So I hinge everything on that. It's an adventure. Every time you do a movie, it's an adventure and you learn something from it. If you don't, you're dead. I love Arizona and New Mexico, I really do. I love it more than California. I know that's an odd thing to say, but it's true. I'm here, but this is through circumstance. Like the people, you wander into a camp in the middle of the night, and you have a very good chance of getting killed or robbed. I remember doing Quick and the Dead, and I was wearing clothes that were so amazing. Leather, all leather, and embroidered, it was amazing. And I thought of myself sitting by a campfire by myself with my pearl-handled guns. And somebody, if they came and saw me, they'd want to kill me just for my clothes. And it was a very exploitive time. I mean, they killed almost all the buffalo and as many Native Americans as they could just to take what they had. You know, and there were no stores like Vaughn's. You know, people were hand to mouth, you know, and that's brutal. And the lifespan of a human being back in those days, because of the lack of medicine, doctors, or anything else, was very short. So in your youth, you had to get done all the things that a man can do today at his leisure. I don't know if it's part of our nature as humans to be absolutely over-optimistic and suicidal at the same moment. I've never had any desire to imitate myself or imitate anybody I'd ever seen in a Western. I had no desire to do that. It's almost like, all right, you threw me into the river, and I'm going to go with it, and let's see what happens. I really would love to always see what happens.